Numbers 28 chapter. And let's see what it says. I want you to look at verse 1. This is what he tells. It says, Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say unto them, My offering and my bread for my sacrifices made by fire, for a sweet savor unto me, shall you observe to offer unto me in their due season. Thou shalt say unto them, This is the offering made by fire, which ye shall offer unto Yah, 2 lambs of the first year, without spot, day by day, for a continual offering. The one lamb shalt offer thou in the morning, and the other lamb thou shalt offer at evening. And a 10th part of an ephah of flour for a meat offering, mingled with the 4th part of a hin of beaten oil. It is a continual burnt offering, which was ordained in Mount Sinai for a sweet savor, a sacrifice made by fire unto Yah. So when we sit there and look at it, remember I just mentioned about them continual offerings, right? This man said this offering has to be made continually. Continually. Now how is this going to be able to be done without a temple? So that means there's something that had to be done. We can already going to have to be able to ascertain that YESHUA has to relate in here somewhere, don't we? Now we just sit back and we just seen that this man say that these are offering, a bread offering and a meat offering. And he's saying they're for a sweet smell, a sweet aroma. No? You all right over there? You dropping something? All right then. You need to get your offering. Then he says you need to add an ephah of flour for this meat offering, and you need to beat it with a hin of oil. Now, what would you think he's talking about beating this with a hin of oil? That means adding oil to this offering, right? Now, we know that YESHUA had the oil offered to him, right? Let's go ahead and look at Matthew 3:16, just to make it clear. We come back to number 28. We just make it clear. Because we already know what Psalms 45 told you. He was anointed with the oil of gladness, right? Above his fellows. Isaiah told you the same thing in the 61st chapter. Yah has anointed me to preach the gospel, right? So we already know that anointing is the spirit. You got people who like this here. Somebody just tried me about that the other day. What is the oil? You don't know what the oil is. You're already in trouble. He said YESHUA, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him. So now we're sitting here that we can see that this lamb has been anointed with this oil. So that means that this lamb could begin to be prepared to be offered. Because he also said that this offering has to be without blemish. Come on around here to 1 Peter, the 1st chapter. And you have to sit back and you got to look at that as yourself. You're going to have to offer yourself without a blemish. You're going to have to purify yourself. 1 Peter 1. About verse 14. He said, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the form of lust in your ignorance, but he which hath called you is Kodesh, so you be Kodesh in all manner of behavior. Because it is written, be ye Kodesh, for I am Kodesh. And if you call on the Father without respect of persons, judge according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. So if you can set yourself apart accordingly, and then you call on the Father who don't have no respect of person. Now, why y'all think he ain't got no respect of person? Let's just make it clear for the dummies out here. Come on over here to Deuteronomy 10 and 17, since the Lord done saw fit to bring that up. We just got to make it clear for the dummies, because the man say he ain't got no respect of person. So let's see what the law says. That's what Peter say. So no, we got to validate with that with the law. He says God who judge according to every man's work, because he has no respect of persons. So Deuteronomy 10 and 17. Let's see what he says. He says, for Yah your God is God of gods, and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regard not persons nor take reward. This is what he says. And he doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and love the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. So now we're going to look at something. He just said he loved the stranger to give him food and clothing, didn't he? What would this food he would give this stranger? What's the food he would give this stranger? Little Lizzie say, I know. Sat this can intelligently speaking at this point in time. Anybody know huh? Indeed. It'd be the word, but what we're dealing with the meat offering, so what would that food be? He gonna let them partake in that cup. Can't they partake? Can't the stranger partake in the Passover? Come on around here to Exodus 12. Because remember, we say Passover, but we say Passover, but it's actually the Lord's Supper, because the Passover was actually the lamb, and we have no need to eat lamb. Exodus 12 and 48. Listen to what he said. He said, when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, unto the stranger that sojourn among you. Now, where would you think this would pertain to something that Paul said? This man said, he shall be as one that is born in the land. What is he talking about right here? This man said, if they come near, they can eat the Passover, they just can't be uncircumcised when they do it. So what is this referring to? Come on over here to Galatians 3 and 26. I'm surprised you don't know Jim Dandy? Huh? What it is then if you know? Smart guy. Now I gotta ask you again. You ain't know yet. You don't know. You just know. But what it is then? He said one. He said to a stranger shall. I mean, it's Galatians 3 and 26. He said. Yeah. He said one of them. No. Well, yeah, I hear you, but that's not what we were looking for. Close, but no cigar.
No, this cigar.
No cigar. No cigar.
Not passing.
No. He say, for ye are all the children of God by faith in the Messiah Yeshua. Because when you take forth in that Passover and taking that bread and wine, you become one with God, right? Which means you will become a son of God. He say, for as many of you have been baptized into the Messiah, have put on the Messiah. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in the Messiah Yeshua. Ain't that what the Lord just told you? He said, the stranger be just like one born in the land. Or as Numbers said, as ye also the stranger shall be. That means they just like you did. He said, you are all one in the Messiah. He said, if you be the Messiah, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Because if you got the Passover in you and this man dwelling in you and you dwelling in him, you have right to inheritance, right? We done dealt with this before. Say nothing new. But come over here to Acts 10. Let's see if we get some more validation for this. What else we holding up, Michael? What we got on that besides the number 28? We holding 1 Peter 1. That's all. Now we done with Exodus and we done with Deuteronomy. No, I'm just saying. Hey, I appreciate it. Just let you know we were completed, so you don't have to hold it anymore. Acts 10. No need to have you holding something that you don't need. Verse 34. Let's see now, because Peter already wrote in his epistle that God is not a respecter of person. Let's see what Peter says. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. But in every nation he that fear him and work righteousness is accepted with him. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yeshua the Messiah, he is Lord of all. Drop down here to verse 41. See what happens. Matter of fact, we'll keep going. Drop down to 38. Look what happened. He said, how God anointed Yeshua of Nazareth, the Ruach HaKodesh, with power, who went about doing good, healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him. So we tying right back into Numbers, right? He said he anointed this meat offering, or this lamb, with oil. That's what he just said, didn't he? He said, him God raised up. He said, and we are witnesses of all these things which he did, both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree. Him God raised up the third day and showed him openly, not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of God, even to us, who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify it is he which was ordained of God to be the judge of the quick and the dead. To him give all the prophets witness that through his name whosoever believes in him shall receive remission of sins. While Peter yet spake these words, the Ruach HaKodesh fell on them which heard the word. And they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. Now you got stupid niggas that say that's the northern kingdom, that's the Gentile. Why would Israelites be shocked or astonished that another Israelite got the gift of God? Why would they be astonished at that? Does anybody have any rational or reasonable explanation why an Israelite would be astonished that another Israelite got the Spirit? Does that make any logical sense for anyone? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Especially considering that these people knew the scriptures and they knew that Israel and Judah was connected to the same covenant, right? They would know that Ezekiel said he would make them one, right? So why would they sit there and be like, oh man, Ephraim got the spirit, Asher got the spirit? That's stupidity. That's only when you're dealing with somebody unskilled that's trying to make a fool out of you. Come on back over here to 1 Peter 1. And you see that all these things tying in together. Because you got to be able to get the spirit, you got to be able to eat that meat offering. And we're going to deal why it's a continual sacrifice. So you didn't even say what I said there. See, he's going to judge every man according to his work. So you need to pass your time while you're on this earth in fear and respect to God. Because he told you that in Isaiah. He said, hey, my reward is with me to give every man according to his work, it shall be. He said, for as much as you know you were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold, from your vain behavior received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of the Messiah, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who truly was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. So knowing that this man manifested his son as a lamb without blemish and spot, to redeem you in these last times, so that you could get eternal life. Look what else he says. He say, who by him do believe in God, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God. Because what we just read, what Peter said in Acts 10, all the prophets bear witness of him, right? So then you would be setting your faith and hope in God, not setting your faith and hope in no sacrifice. When you got a continual sacrifice, come on over here to Hebrews. No, little Lizzie with the scully. Hebrews 7, by verse 22. Make it 21, actually. Well, in fact, let me look at about verse 19. He says, for the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing in of a better hope did, by which we draw nigh unto God. So through Yeshua, we can come near unto God, then it will give us a better hope. That we can be able to be made one with God and dwell with him forever. He says, insomuch as not without an oath he was made priest, for those priests were made without an oath. But this was with an oath by him that said unto him, Yah swear and will not repent, thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. By so much was Yahshua made a surety of a better testament. This is why these dudes be falling. Because remember, they hold into the old instead of the new. They hold to something that can't give them life versus something that can. And see, where Sunday people get it twisted that they telling you the obedience is wasn't the law wasn't no good, so you ain't got to keep that under the new one. He wasn't telling you that. The first covenant, your sins couldn't be wiped out. You couldn't get eternal life from it. You know what I'm saying? All you could do is dwell in the land. You might live 70 years, 80 if you're lucky. You know what I'm talking about? When I say lucky, that means he sees fit. That's all you got. He said, for this one here, I give you an eternal inheritance in heaven. I give you an eternal kingdom. I give you my eternal spirit. You can live with me forever. And you can get something that you couldn't get out the first one. But what these dudes want to do, they want you to sacrifice goats. They want you to sacrifice lambs. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that year they want you to sit down to eat bitter herbs and all this stuff here? That's what Paul meant. You want to follow it to the letter, but you ain't got the spirit, though. Oh, we got to eat these bitter herbs. I got to take my lamb and slaughter it. And that's why you're going to hell. Matter of fact, if you're going to do wrong, do right, do wrong, you might well just go all the way out with it. Go and fly to Jerusalem and do it. Ain't no sense of sacrificing no lamb over here. You know what I'm talking about? Go and pack everybody up, fly to Jerusalem, go to the Wailing Wall. If they say that's the last piece of the wall of the temple, you know what I'm saying? But we know that ain't the case, because what the Lord say, every stone going to get tossed down there. So go on ahead, fly over there, find your little spot, sacrifice your goat, get your bitter herb, do all that, stay over there for 8 days, fly back. That's how I look at it.
See, that's too much money, brother. We over here in captivity, so we don't got...
I mean, you got enough money, you around here raising lambs. Surely it ain't cheap to raise no lambs.
I need some grass.
Man, you got to have somewhere to keep it.
Backyard.
Backyard. Man, you got zoning, man. You just can't just pop up and say, I'm going to keep a lamb in my backyard.
Oh, no. I have garbage cans.
Where you stay at is not zoned for animal usage. They're going to tell you, you're going to get this lamb out of here.
Know.
They always know. They always know. You know what I'm talking about? Come on now. Look what he say now. He's saying they truly were many priests because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death. But this man, because he continued forever. Did he say these offerings had to be offered continually? Because he continued forever, have an unchangeable priesthood. Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him, seeing he ever lived to make intercession for them. So that means he could ever live to continually make a sacrifice for them, right? Because remember, we can read where he say that Yeshua was a continual sacrifice. There is no need for us to continually sacrifice things because this man is a continual sacrifice, just like the law. Is it not? Does that line up with the law or not? Now, just like what Brittany said last night, how do these men miss that? How did they miss it? Because that's very important for us. If we don't know these things, we have a major, 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 major problem. Because that means our faith ain't where it's supposed to be. Come on back around here to number 28.
We've done numbers. Nothing that.
I didn't say nothing about number 28. I said we would. Yes, I did. I appreciate your clarification. Nice doing service with you. That'll be $10.99. That'll be $10.99. Run me my money. So make me come after you, man. So make me come after you. Well, we stop at verse 6. Look what he say here in verse 7, though. He said, and the drink offering thereof shall be a fourth part of a hin for one lamb. In the Kodesh place, thou shalt cause the strong wine to be poured unto Yah for a drink offering. So now we sit here seeing where we got this lamb, this bread, and this wine. Now you see why specifically this man came up with what? Bread and wine, and we know he's the lamb. You know what I'm talking about? Bread, wine, and you see that all three right there, right? Where else we seen last night where bread and wine was mentioned at? I think y'all went and got in the bed. Genesis 14 and 18 with the high priest Melchizedek. He came and met Abraham, and what did he have? Bread and wine. Because it was already shown in the similitude that you were going to drink this man's blood and you were going to eat his flesh. I seen dudes arguing. That's what I was looking at earlier, T, when you called me earlier. That's what I was looking at. Dudes arguing about that. What the Passover was, what it wasn't. We can't keep. The worst part killed me. It was a man arguing about we can't keep it in captivity, but then he turns around and say, but I keep it though. Then you just destroyed your whole argument. You are a fool. You can't tell somebody, don't steal, and then you steal. Oh, I don't keep it. We can't keep the Passover in captivity, but I can't wait till the 14th because I'm going to keep the Passover. That's retarded. That's mixed signals. You know, why would I take you seriously after that? You're going to tell me that I can't keep something, but you're going to keep it. That make any sense for anybody? I didn't think so. Look what he says in verse 8. And the other lamb shalt thou offer at even as the meat offering of the morning, and as the drink offering thereof, and thou shalt offer the sacrifice made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yah. Drop down to verse 15. We won't read all the rest of that. Or 16 actually. And the 14th day of the first month is the Passover of Yah. And the 15th day of this month is the feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. And the first day shall be a set apart convocation. You shall do no manner of servile work therein. He says, but you shall offer a sacrifice made by fire for a burnt offering unto Yah. 2 young bullocks, 1 ram, 7 lambs of the first year, they shall be unto you without blemish. And their meat offering shall be of flour mingled with oil. 3/10 deal shall you offer for a bullock, 2/10 deal for a ram. Several tenth deal shalt thou offer for every lamb throughout the 7 lambs. 1 goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. You shall offer these besides the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a continual burnt offering. So when we sit there and we look at that burnt offering in the morning, you know he was offered up when they snatched him. When they brought him up there and put him up there. Then when they killed him, when did he die? Because dudes say he didn't die. I seen the dude this morning say, Yeshua didn't die at even. But when did Yeshua die? Who knows when he died? What was it when he died? It was even, but remember he died in the middle of the day. So what do y'all remember why? Because remember we read the Passover lamb got to be killed at even. So what did the Lord do to make sure that law was fulfilled? You remember? Sun went down in the middle of the day. Because that law had to be fulfilled. Exactly. But I'm talking about, remember though, but he said the Passover lamb got to be killed at even. Yeshua is the Lamb of God. We know this. John told us this. Here's the Lamb of God that would remove the sins of the world. So it's in the middle of the day when they snatched him. So for the law to be fulfilled, that's why that Amos 8 came into play. He said, I'll make it go dark at noon. See, that's what I'm telling you about. Somebody unskilled. See, he ran his mouth off and said, no, he didn't die at nighttime. And you were wrong. And you were wrong. You know what I'm talking about? And if you don't know that, you'll call somebody to say something and they'll be blaspheming. Because they're going to be speaking against God and saying God didn't do something that he did. Because he had to do this. He said, I got to snatch you in the morning, make your offering by day, and I got to bring another lamb in here and make your offering by night. This man got to complete all of this. And he's saying that first one is going to be for a continual offering. A continual offering. We just read that he made continual offering, right? Because without this continual offering, that means somebody got to come up to the high place and make another sin offering and an atonement for us. Continuous. We don't have that no more. We got to worry about that. Yeshua did it one time. Matter of fact, come on over there. We read it last night. We'll read it again. Come back to Hebrews 10 where he tell you that. Hebrews 10 and 12. Make it 11. Make it 10. He said, by the which we are all sanctified through the offering of the body of Yeshua the Messiah once for all. Every priest stand daily ministering and offering oftentimes the sacrifices which can never take away sins. But this man, after he offered one sacrifice for sins, forever sat down on the right hand of God. From henceforth expecting till his enemies be made his footstool. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified. So he said, by that one offering he done set apart all those that have been set apart. We just read that in Numbers 28, that he says for those that set in the set apart place. If you're going to sit in the set apart place, you got to be set apart. And now we just read that part, because I seen somebody post this the other day. I don't want to never hear none of you niggas talking about the Lord going to make my enemies your footstool, because he was not talking to you. You know, a lot of people be quick to say that. You know, he going to make your foes your footstool. Huh? Why you turning that move? Oh, he's like I said, because she dozed.
I was thinking she was.
Oh. But yeah, y'all ever heard people say that? He was talking to his son. When he say, when y'all said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand till I make thy enemies thy footstool, he was not talking to none of you niggas. I just seen somebody say that the other day. Y'all will make your Lord will make your enemies your footstool. No, not you. He wasn't talking to you. Because last time I checked, he didn't swear to you be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek and strike through kings and there'll be blood from one end of the earth to the other. I don't think he was talking to you. You know what I'm talking about? You got to be careful with inserting yourself in the spots that ain't talking about you. But that's surely it's not talking about you. But we can sit there and see this here. This one offering, you sanctified and you set apart forever. And all we just tie this into, this is the purpose of us eating that bread and that wine. That's the purpose of it. Because we got to fulfill the law. You got dudes don't even know why he came with bread and wine. They just think he just did it, don't they? What you say, Dwight? Yeah, let's just keep it simple, huh? I ain't mad at you. Come on around here to Leviticus chapter 2. Because the purpose of that unleavened bread is to show some purification or some purging. See, we're supposed to be doing some purging. Ain't that right, Lord? Listen, say, I ain't got to purge nothing yet but some poop. Yeah, he must do this thing. He want to go check on it. Let that baby sleep. She ain't been in there for about 13 minutes. Leviticus 2. Why you won't let that baby sleep? Leave my baby alone, let her sleep, man. Leviticus 2 and 1. We probably touch all things in the chapter. You know she'll go to running after a while. She ain't gonna never stop. He said, when any will offer a meat offering unto Yah, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it and put frankincense thereon. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests. He shall take thereout his handful of flour thereof, and the oil thereof, and the frankincense thereof, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar to be an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yah. So we just read that last night in Ephesians, that Yahshua offered himself as a sacrifice, as a sweet smelling savor unto God. Now Paul told you in Romans 12, you need to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. Because when you do this, come on over here to Hosea 12. That just came to my mind. Hosea 12. Hosea 12. Let's look at verse 3. Make it 2. Yeah, she'll be ready to call in a couple weeks. It's one moving baby. Yeah, of course I'm exaggerating. And she got to crawl in 2 weeks. I'm out of here. Right up. I'm out of here. Y'all also have a controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings, he will recompense him. Now we just already read that he said that the Lord repay people according to their words. So you got to sit there and look at that. When you commit sin, the Lord gonna pay you back. He gonna give you just what you earned. He said he's going to give you according to the fruit of your doing. You bring forth fruits meet for repentance, he repay you with everlasting life and a place in his kingdom. You bring forth the fruits of wickedness, you're going to burn in hell. He said he took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Now he said by his strength you got power with God. What's the power with God? Huh? That's the Spirit. See, come on over here to Mark 9. See, that's what I want. Mark 9, by verse 23. He said, Yeshua said unto them, if thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believe. I ain't told this with the verse because it's just one spot and so long. But even another one, he said, have faith in God. What did Isaiah tell you in the 26th chapter of Isaiah, about verse 3 or 4? Anybody know what Isaiah told you? Isaiah told you to trust ye in Yah forever. He said, for he who has his mind stayed on him, he keep in perfect peace. He say, trust in Yah forever, for Yah is everlasting strength. Now he say, by his strength, he had power with God. The Son believed in the Father. He trusted in him, did he not? So therefore, he was able to get the power of God, which is the Spirit. The Spirit is the power of God. We just read that, right? That he was with power. He was anointed by God with the Spirit, and he came with power. You can't have power without the Spirit. See, I'm going to show you the point where he had with power. Look at Matthew 7. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll look at Matthew 7, then go to 1 Corinthians 4. This is the last verse. Verse 28. So you got to have power. See, there's a difference when you hear people speaking the word. You hear most people speaking with the word. They're not speaking with power. He said, it came to pass when Yeshua had ended these things, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. If you have one having authority, what you got, Lamar? You got power. Come on over here to 1 Corinthians 4. I want you to look at 1 Corinthians 4 and about verse 15. Listen to what he's telling. He said, for as though you have 10,000 instructors in the Messiah, you have not many followers, but for in the Messiah Yahshua, I have begotten you through the gospel. So he's sitting there telling you, though you might have 10,000 people teach you in the word, he's sitting there saying, but I birthed you in it. You know what I'm talking about? He said, wherefore I beseech you, be ye followers of me. So he's saying the same thing what we read what Peter said. He said, be an example. He's telling you, follow my footsteps because I'm following the Messiah's footsteps. For this cause I have sent unto you Timotheus, who is my beloved son and faithful in the Lord, who shall bring you into remembrance of my ways which be in the Messiah. I preach everywhere in every assembly. Now some are puffed up, as though I would not come to you. He said, but I will come to you shortly if the Lord will, and will know not the speech of them which are puffed up, but the power. Because see, a lot of dudes, they get a little, how many of y'all done ran call people, they get a little information, they get full of themselves. Feel like they can talk down to you, treat you any kind of way. That's what he's telling you. That's why he told you in another place, he say, knowledge puffeth up, but love, but charity edify. See, when you got love for people, you will instruct them. But when you get some knowledge, you talk down to them. That's the son I told you all the time. You know my vocabulary, little son, but I used to keep it scaled back because the people I was around, I didn't want to make myself make it seem like I'm smarter than you. You ever been around somebody that like to use words?
No vocabulary.
Oh yeah, it is. It actually was.
You ain't got.
Yeah, I sound. You know what we sound like you got over here? Starts with an H and ends with an A. Yeah, that's what we got going on over here, buddy. That's what we got going on. But no, seriously though, because when you dealing with most dudes and they ain't into stuff like that, you know, I used to read dictionary, man. I did a lot of reading. You know what I'm talking about? The vocabulary was very extensive.
That was the worst.
Right.
You have to have a dictionary to understand what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? But the thing is though, I remember Langston told me that when we were young. He was like, you ain't finna leave me behind. But that's just how I spoke, because if you everybody really, I started really cussing more often because I'm trying to reach the people who I'm talking to. I read this in the book. He said it doesn't make sense for you to use words that your audience doesn't know what they mean, because then your audience will be lost. He said you're really just doing that to make yourself feel superior to the people that you're talking to. And I've seen people who do that. It don't necessarily be the words they use all the time, but how they talk to people. People cannot relate to you. They cannot approach to you. So you basically, oh, I know this little stuff. You see niggas do it all the time. Niggas get a degree, boy, especially black women, they quit to do it.
Yeah.
They quick to do it. Oh, I got a master's degree. So you think you somebody because you got a piece of paper from your slave master? Because he patted you on your head and told you was a good nigga? You see niggas do it all the time. Because they get a degree, they got a piece of paper, they think they can lift themselves up over somebody. He said, but when you have love for people, then you'll tell them what they need to know so they can be better. You're instructing them. That's why Paul told you that. Knowledge puffeth up, love edifies. But right here to verse 20. But he said, guess what? But Paul told him, my speech ain't coming with no puffed up. He said, I'm coming with power. He said, for the kingdom of God is not in word, but in power. That's what you have to look at now. How is you going to have power with God if you don't have the Spirit? That's why when YESHUA came, he didn't come puffed up. See, look what YESHUA told him. Come on around here. Am I right? Did he take me straight to it? Yeah, he did. Around here to Luke 21. Is it Luke 21? Hold on. No, it's Luke 22, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Luke 22 and 25. Make it 24. Luke 22 and 24. Luke 22 and 24. And he says, and there was also strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief, as he that doth serve. He say, for whether is greater, he that sit at meat, or he that serves? Is not he that sit at meat? He say, but I am among you as he that serves. So he's sitting here telling them. He said, what's greater? Somebody to sit down at the meat or somebody who do the serving? When you go in the restaurant, who greater? The waitress or you? Huh? What you say, Jim Dandy? Is the waitress greater than you or you greater than the waitress? Now you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk today? Hold on. You don't want to talk today? Well, obviously, the person that's sitting down eating is greater. No, it ain't no dependent. No, ain't no angle you looking at. Look what he say, what is greater? He that sitteth at meat or he that served? He said, it's not he that sit at meat. So the man that's sitting down at that table getting served is greater than the person who's serving. That waitress is supposed to be catering to you. We ain't talking about no bad service, man. Look at the key thing that they're doing. They're doing a service. They're working for you.
Like she just said, if you have to fool someone enough on your plate.
Yes, yeah. It's just that. We're not talking about bad service. It's just that.
Yes.
Okay.
You come on over here to Luke 11. Let me show you something. We got an old smart guy over here. Got old smart. He was trying to tell him something, that you're not just going to be around here trying to benefit off the people, that you got a job to do. He said, Luke 11, where is that? It's been so long. It's been so long. Let me find it. Perry, you remember when he told his disciples, he said, you'll tell them you unprofitable servants, we just doing what it is our duty to do. It's been so long since I read it. I know what he said word for word, though. But I want to find it for everybody else. I'll make it quick. But you understand what he's telling you, though? Because he told him that earlier. He said, I didn't come to minister, to be ministered unto. I came to minister. This man said, I didn't come here for people to serve me. I came here to serve. So that's what he's sitting there telling them. And that's what it is. When you got love in your heart to edify the people, then you're going to come to serve. That man came to lay his life down for the people. And that's what a lot of dudes who want to teach the word, they don't want to do that. They want to take the oversight thereof because a lot of them just want to be seen. Luke 17. A lot of people just want to be seen. A lot of people want somebody to tell them how great of a man they are. They got their reward. Luke 17 and verse 7. This is what he's telling. He said, but which of you having a servant plowing or feeding cattle will say unto him, by and by when he is come from the field, go sit down to meat. And will not rather say unto him, make ready, wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me, till I have eaten and drunken, and afterwards thou shalt eat and drink. He said, does he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I trow not. So likewise, when you have done all the things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants, we have done that which was our duty to do. So that means you don't sit here and get all amped up for doing what you're supposed to be doing. See, come over here to 1 Corinthians 9, look what Paul said. That's the whole key thing. You got to come to serve. He say, when you call somebody, if you got a servant and you call him in the house, you going to tell him sit down and eat, I'm going to serve you? Or you going to tell him fix my food? If one of y'all had enough money to have a butler, you going to tell the butler sit down, you going to feed him? Or you going to tell him get in here and feed me? You got a personal chef, you going to tell your chef you going to cook for him? Or you going to tell that chef, I need some salmon baked right now? I mean, you ain't going to say it like that, but you're going to let it be known. I'm paying you. Get in here and make my dinner. What I'm paying you for.
I thought it was having the menu already posted.
What's the difference?
Well, you know what you got.
1 Corinthians 9, about verse 16. He's going to email him, huh? Say, I want some well done prime rib with a side of baked potatoes.
Sweet baked potato.
Sweet baked potatoes. Go ahead then.
Get some lemon on the side.
Lemons?
Just throw it out, man. Just to make it.
It's just sour, nigga. Lemons. Sour, nigga.
Oh, man.
He say, for though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Woe unto me if I preach not the gospel. He say, for if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me, he say, what is my reward then? Truly that when I preach the gospel, I make the gospel of the Messiah without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. Now Paul's sitting here telling you, I gotta preach. But when he say abuse not his power, remember, what was Paul? And I'm talking about, and on top of that, what was Paul doing? What was it? Remember, he was celibate. Had no wife, had no children. So that's why he say, I get the gospel without charge. It don't make sense for Paul to say, I can take time. That's why he said, I don't abuse my power. Because you know, I have power to do it. We just read it earlier, I got power to take it. He said, but I don't have no wife and kids. Don't make no sense for me to do it. Don't make no sense for me to do it. You know what I'm talking about? Because then I would be abusing my power. You know what I'm talking about? You got some niggas out here already, they ain't even got no power by the Spirit. Because remember, if he say abusing his power, what does Paul have then? He got the Spirit. And you got dudes saying Paul was schizophrenic in a sinner because he was sitting here trying to give illustrations of the flesh battling. Oh, Paul committed sin. You think this man had the Spirit and he committed sin? Like that dumb dude we were talking to the other day? Nicole heard when I asked him, hey man, you got the Spirit? He said, yeah. I said, you commit sin? He said, yeah. I said, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Ain't no way you're going to have the power with God with you and still walk contrary. That makes no sense. Come on back to Hosea 12. Verse 4. Hosea 12 and 4. Listen what he said. Yea, he had power over the angel. He prevailed. He wept. He made supplication unto him. He found him in Bethel, and there he spake with us. Even Yah Elohim of hosts. Yah is his memorial. Therefore, turn thou to thy God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually. So now we know this talking about when Jacob wrestled that angel, but guess what? If you got power over the angel, what angel is he referring to? Come on over here to James the 4th chapter. Lord willing, we're working back into these unleavened bread and cakes and these meat offerings, but the Lord works things as he will. I said James 4 then. James 4. About verse 6. James 4 and 6. It says, but he give more grace, wherefore saith he, God resist the proud, but give grace unto the humble. What was Satan's problem? Satan's problem, he was proud, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. Satan wanted to walk contrary. Satan wanted to come out and accuse the brethren and do his own thing. That's why he say, you be of your father the devil, for the lust of your father he will do. Obviously Satan got to be proud. God gave him explicit instruction in the garden. He came to move this woman to go against it. That's what proud people do. He say, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. See, that's the whole key thing. If you got power with God, you're going to prevail. He's going to flee from you. Your power is to submit yourself under God's word. See, Peter told you the same thing. The devil walk about like a roaring lion, seeking to whom he may devour. He say, resist him steadfast in the faith. So if you've got steadfast in the faith, he's saying resist him steadfast with the power of God, and you'll have power over him. How that makes sense when you over there, Chex Mix boy? Chex Mix man, you don't want to share nobody else. We see how you feel. It's alright. Ain't nobody else want them. Back over here, look at what he said. Then he said he prevailed. Who name it mentions prevailing? Who name mentions prevailing? And I ain't talking about Israel, where he say, for as a prince thou hast power with God and hast prevailed. What man of the 12 tribes of the sons of Jacob name mean prevail? Come on around here to Genesis 30. You don't know Jim Daniels? No, it's not Zebulon. Zebulon means to dwell. Genesis 30 and 8. Or 30 and 7.
Benjamin? No.
No, Benjamin means son of my right hand.
Reuben.
Reuben means my affliction.
Sure. Dirt means
Verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed, and she called his name Naphtali. So we can already see, but you got power with God, you're going to Naphtali over Satan, was you not? Over that angel. You're going to prevail over him. So when you're thinking about prevailing, when the Lord said, I overcame the world, you got to sit back and think, I've Naphtali, I've prevailed. I wrestled. Come on around here to Romans 7. Romans 7 and about verse 22. Romans 7 about verse 22. He say, for I delight in the law of God after the inward man. For I see another law of my members warring against the law of my mind, bringing me into the captivity of the law of sin, which is in my members. So this man talk about dying. The man is not talking about going to commit no sin. Because he say he delight after God in the inward man. He talking about in his heart, after the spirit. He say, I delight after doing what God tells me to do. He say, but he see this law in his members. What are your members? That's your body parts, right? What's the law that's going to go down in your members? What did the law say? The law said when he ate that tree, what would happen? You will surely die. So that's the law in your members. And he said, it's bringing me into captivity. The law of sin, which is in my members. He said, O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? He said, I thank God through YESHUA the Messiah our Lord. So then, with the mind, I might serve the law of God, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So this man said here talk about, through YESHUA the Messiah, he's attained victory, he can prevail. Because he said in his mind, I can keep God's commandment, even though my body going to perish. Because that's the law of sin. Because of the sin of Adam, we die, right? He ain't talking about that he committing sin. I'm keeping God's law some days, I'm sinning others. That's not what the man is saying. Come on back over here to Hosea 12. What we holding, Jim Daniels? Just number 28 and Leviticus 2, ain't it? No. You're fired. You're fired again.
No. You're.
No. Only person here is cool right now is the Muppets. We're fired.
No, not cool. Is that what the Muslim not cool? Huh?
Not here right now. So only
right there?
no.
Now you're not here.
Yeah, it's not here right now. Not dealing with it. It's dealing with you. You're not cool right now. But guess what? When he said he found him in Bethel, where did he find him out? What is Bethel, Jim Bandit? What is Bethel? What is Bethel? Pell, go on tell him what Bethel is. Huh?
A place?
Yeah, what is that place?
What is it?
Yeah, what is Bethel?
Do you take feet?
Yeah. Now what you say, Pell?
That's
That's the house of God. It's the house of the living God. He said, I found him in the house. When they looked for Yeshua, where they always found him at? See, look what he told him here in Luke. Look what he told him where they always found him at. Oh, that's John. Pardon me. John 19. Could be 18. It's John 18. About verse 20. Make it 19. Let's see what the Lord told him. He said, the high priest then asked Yeshua of his disciples and of his doctrine. Yeshua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple where the Jews always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. Yeshua said, I was always in the house of God. All the time. You always found me in there. All the time. He said, whether it was the synagogue or the temple, I was there. And he said he made supplication. We can sit there and we can read where he made supplication in the garden, right? When they went up to that mountain to pray, wasn't he making supplication? Did he have power to prevail? No? Makes sense for you, that young lady? No? And what that is his memorial. Because now that's an everlasting memorial when we do something, right? Because he said you'll be his memorial, right? That y'all hold. Come on back to Leviticus 2. Let's deal with this memorial. Jim Dandy really sucks today. Who's going to help me beat him up? I think I know somebody to help me.
I don't think she will.
Yeah, I think she will. I don't think you can whoop both of them. I know you can't whoop me by myself, so I know you can't whoop both of them. Well, yeah, we have to whoop. We got to, sometimes you got to whoop your mules. Get them to go the direction you want them to go. Put some bits and bridles in his mouth.
Why you giving him your name? Everybody knows who the mule is, man.
I'm no mule.
Everyone knows who's the donkey.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer. What verse we start with? Verse 3 is where we at. He's saying the remedy of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is the thing most kodesh of the offerings of Yah made by fire. This man say the remedy of this meat offering is strictly for the priest and his sons. This is going to make a lot of sense if we go to think about that 1 Corinthians 11 and it don't. He say this offering, because he said you can't take it unworthily, can you? He said then you're not discerning the Lord's body. I mean you partaking in the sacrifice don't belong to you, don't. See, come over here and look at Leviticus 21. Let me see that. That just came to mind. Let's look at Leviticus 21. Verse 17. I said 21. I did speak up. How about you clean the wax out your ears? Obviously you do. Obviously you didn't clean it very well. Obviously. I troll not. You're going to actually dig in the garbage can and look for Q-tips with earwax on it? Oh, you're dismissed. Go in the room with stankers.
Get out. How about that?
Go in the room with stankers. I'm working right now. Go in the room with stankers.
Work somewhere else. Get out.
No, you get out. Digging in the garbage can for Q-tips. I'm appalled and aghast.
You know what? You want to go to that on the regular every week, faithfully.
So what? That's what I like to do.
Now you get out. We're both on this man.
What you mean? I like to do those things every now and then. Make it verse 16. He said, y'all spake on the, hey, you can find good stuff in the dumpster, man.
Yes, you can.
Hey, get good furniture. Get good furniture. Say, y'all spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron, saying, whosoever he be of thy seed, in their generations that have any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of God. Now we already know. John 1 and 12 say you're able to be born of him, right? He said, don't come approach to him to eat the bread of your God. Come on over to 1 Corinthians 11. We'll read it again. It's going to tie right back into this Leviticus 11. That's what you got to know. That's why you got to know what you read, how it relates, how it correlates, and then you can see these things and why Paul and the other apostles say what they said. Why Yeshua did what he did or said what he said. Look what he say now. Verse 23. He said, for I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yeshua the same night in which he was betrayed took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. If you're doing something in remembrance, ain't that a memorial? Because that's what memorials are, for you to remember. So now that's tying right back in, because when you eat this bread, that's a memorial, meaning Yah, your God, is your memorial. He said, after the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eat and drink unworthily, eat and drink damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. This is the same thing we read in the law, Leviticus 21, right? Verse 17. He said, Whosoever be of his seed in their generation to have a blemish, don't let him come offer their bread. He said, you better not come around here trying to offer this bread. You better not come around here trying to take part in that. Because what's that blemish? That's sin, right? He told you in the law, Deuteronomy 17:1, don't bring me no offerings that got no sins or no blemishes. He said, don't bring that to me. I will not accept it. Because that's right here. He's telling them specifically, look what he said he's going to do if they do it. He said, for whatsoever man he be that have a blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man or a lame or he that have a flat nose or anything superfluous. A man that is broken-footed or broken-handed or crook-backed or a dwarf or that have a blemish in his eyes or be scurvy or scabbed or have his stones broken. No man that have a blemish of the seed of Aaron the priest shall come nigh to offer the offerings of Yah made by fire. He have a blemish. He shall not come nigh to offer his bread of his God. He shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most Kodesh and of the Kodesh. Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come nigh unto the altar, because he have a blemish, that he profane not my sanctuaries, for I, Yah, do sanctify him. So now he's sitting there telling you, if you're going to be of this man's seed and you got some blemishes on you, you better not approach, because now you're going to profane and make common my house. What you think going to happen to you? You make this man's house common. You think you got anything good coming to you? I didn't think so either. Come on over here, back in Leviticus 2. You all right over there, Jim Dan? You look like you're tired.
It's not me up.
Well, that was Leviticus 21:16 to the end of the chapter. I'm going back to Leviticus 2. She just asked me what we just read. In Leviticus chapter 2. Where we start at here? Verse 4. He said, if thou bring an oblation of meat offering baken in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. What them wafers is, Dwight? What's them wafers? What's the things that were compared to be as wafers? No. What did the people eat in the wilderness that was compared to be as wafers? That's the manna. You see, they said they had to be unleavened. So you know them wafers, that manna they ate was unleavened too. Because remember, Yahshua said, I'm the bread that came from heaven. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't she eating again? It's one hungry baby. He said, if thy oblation be a meat offering baken in the pan, it shall be fine flour unleavened mingled with oil. Thou shalt part it in pieces and pour oil thereon. It is a meat offering. If thy oblation be a meat offering baken in a frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour or oil. And thou shalt bring the meat offering that is made of these things unto Yah, and when it is presented unto the priest, he shall bring it unto the altar. And the priest shall take the meat offering, a memorial thereof, and shall burn it upon the altar. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto Yah. So you know every time that you partake in this Passover or in the Lord's Supper, are you not showing a memorial to Yah that says a sweet savor? Because you offering yourself up like Yahshua offered himself up, didn't he? He offered himself up as a sacrifice, did he not? So when you're going to be turning around when you say, because remember we just read Paul say, don't take a part of this unworthily, right? So if you're taking part of it worthily, have you not offered yourself up as a living sacrifice, as a sweet savor, as a sweet aroma? That go right back. Remember that when we read that a long time ago in the law? When he smelled Jacob when he was dressing Esau, and he said, it's the sweet aroma of the field which Yah hath blessed. And he inhaled and he enjoyed that aroma and he blessed him. So that's the same thing that you're looking at when you walking and you putting forth that sweet savor, when you walking in the commandments of God and you bringing forth them prayers, the incense of the saints, like we read last night. That's a sweet savor. I can accept that. I can accept that. All this stuff tying together. I want you to look here about, let me see what verse it is I want. Look at verse 11 here. He said, no meat offering which he shall bring unto Yah shall be made with leaven. For you shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, and any offering of fire made by y'all. This man said, you're not going to bring me no offering with no leaven in it. Come on around here to 1 Corinthians 5. Make it verse 6. Now that's hard right there, ain't it? You got stupid niggas saying that this man ate leavened bread with his disciples. When the man say you can't offer me no, ain't that what he just said? No sacrifices with leaven. None. You can't do it. See what Paul says. He say your glorying is not good. Know ye that a little leaven the whole lump. Don't you know a little bit of sin will get you something to hell? Just a little bit of sin get you something to hell, man. Listen to what Paul tells you. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even the Messiah, our Passover, is sacrificed for. That means you need to get that sin up out of you and be some unleavened bread. That's the whole purpose of why you're eating unleavened bread. Come back to Exodus 12. See what I want in this Exodus 12. Verse 11. Looks like it's about to rain there. Interesting. He said, you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. They shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat of it. When did Yeshua them sit down and eat that bread and that wine? Let's see. Let's look at Luke 22. Let's see. Let's see when they ate it. Oh, really? Really? It's going to sit there and belch on everybody? Huh? He's a nasty boy. It's not. Yeah, I like whooping people too, especially young chunks.
See how they gonna talk. Like the whoops ain't gonna be tucked in.
Luke 22:1.
Yeah.
He said, now the feast of the unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. The chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. Then entered Satan into Judas named Iscariot, being the number of the 12. He went his way and communed with the chief priests and captains how he might betray him unto them. And they were glad and coveted him to give him money. And he promised and sought opportunity to betray him unto them in the absence of the multitude. Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. And he sent Peter and John, saying, go prepare us the Passover that we may eat. Let's go back to Luke 12 and look at the law. Let's see when the Passover must be killed.
You said what?
Let's go back to Exodus 12 a minute, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. That's why I said I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what he said now. Verse 6 again. You shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. We're sitting here looking at, what did we just read right here? It says the day of unleavened bread came when the Passover must be killed. So when did that Passover get killed? What day was it? It was the 14th day at even, wasn't it? And then it says that he just told his disciples, let's sit down and go prepare the Passover that we might eat. So what time of the day was it when they sat down and ate? It was nighttime, wasn't it? But we know that he wasn't killed at nighttime at the 14th day at the exact time it was supposed to happen. We know what happened. He made it go dark in the middle of the day, the way he would be killed in the 14th day at even anyway. You know what I'm talking about? But let's go around here to Mark, because I think Mark makes it clear. Or the period of day that we're looking for. I think Mark makes it clear. Everybody all right? Y'all all right over there? Mark 15. Let me see what I hold on 10 seconds. Let me look over here at Mark 14. Look at Mark 14 about verse 43 first.
Which verse?
43. Mark 14 and 43. And it says, immediately while he yet spake, come Judas, one of the 12, and with a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and the scribes and the elders, And he that betrayed him had given him a token, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same as he, take him and lead him away safely. So now we know, when was this Passover grabbed and taken? It was nighttime, wasn't it? Because we know Peter was sitting around by fires and all this stuff for light, because they said they came with torches. You think you need torches in the daytime? When you look at somebody pretty crazy, he walking around with a torch in the daytime if they ain't doing that God-forsaken athletic event they do to worship they false gods, running through the streets with a torch in their hand. But not in the daytime. Yeah, he's just being a big kid. 15:1, same book of Mark. Listen what he say. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me find that spot where he told him that is. Matter of fact, I can't remember where it says it specifically, but he had told, matter of fact, there it is, verse 30 of chapter 14 of Mark. Look what the Lord told Peter. YESHUA said unto him, truly I say unto thee that this day and even in this night. See, because you have dudes who like to play that game. Oh, see, daylight. He said even this day, just like you say, it can be nighttime and you'll be like this day, but you know you're not talking about daylight hours. Sometimes people, you try to be so smart, they be stupid. He said even this day. Then he had to get specific with it. God, I guess the Lord already know it's going to be a dumb nigga somewhere going to try to twist my word. He said even in this night. Before the cock crow twice, thou shalt deny me thrice. So man, now we know when they snatched him, it was nighttime. Look what he said in verse 1. And straightway in the morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council, and bound YESHUA and carried him away and delivered him to Pilate. So that means they took him there in the morning time, didn't it? Because you know what it says about the Passover? Ain't none of it supposed to remain up till the morning. That's why they say we got to hurry and take him down off his cross, because the Passover can't remain till the morning. We can't leave him up here all night now. Can't let the sun come up before that death. Did you know that, Lamar? We know you ain't supposed to hang him on a tree all night, plus the land to be defiled. But also it says that none of the Passover remain up till the morning. You know, if he wasn't dead, they would have left him up there all night. Then come back and check on him in the morning. See if he was dead. But we already know what the law says. You can't leave the Passover up till the morning. He said, all that got to be consumed. We got to get that out of here. It's the same concept. He's just fulfilling the law in two different ways in the same action. Because you can't leave him up there. Because the land going to be defiled. But at the same time, Passover can't sit up till the morning. You got to get rid of it. We got to get him from up there. Come on back to Exodus 12. Let me see what it is. See, look at verse 10 of what I was telling you about. He said, you let nothing of it remain until the morning. And that which remain of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. See what I'm talking about? So you can't leave it up there. Because it was morning time when they put him up there. Because the other two people weren't even dead. See, they came and checked him to see if they said, oh, he already dead. Don't break his legs. So that lets you know the other two men who was up there with him, they weren't dead, were they? Let me see the verse there that I want. Come on around here to verse 21. I want you to see something about this hyssop, because Brittany asked me about this hyssop a couple days ago. Any of y'all know what hyssop is? You know what hyssop is, Jim Dandy? No, it's a part of it. It's actually a mint or herb that is used for purifying. Look at verse 21. He said, then Moses called all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. None of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. So the purpose of the hyssop was to purify the house, to cleanse the house. See, come on over here to Hebrews 10. And I will show the same thing with the Lord. Line it all up together, if he sees so fit to do so. Verse 22. Make it 20. Because what happened when we was dealing with that Passover, we were not about to be sanctified to have a new living way. He said, by a new and living way. Matter of fact, back to 19. He said, having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the Kodeshes by the blood of YESHUA. So by the blood of the Lamb, or that Passover lamb, didn't we have the ability to enter into the Kodesh place? See, hold with that. Go over here to Exodus 15. Come over here and look at Exodus 15. About verse 13. Exodus 15 and 13. Seems like we've been going much longer. I ain't been going that long. It's Jim Dandy's fault. 15 and 13. So gotta blame it on somebody. Why not blame the yellow guy? Yeah. Blame the Nicaraguan. He said, thou in thy mercy.
Yeah.
You mad at me because you're Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
Some people think I'm Haitian. I ain't Haitian though.
Yeah.
He says, thou in thy mercy has led forth the people, though I wouldn't be offended if I was Haitian. You know, some people don't be want. So you got some Haitians don't want nobody to know they're Haitian. I ain't no Hamite now. Watch your mouth. Scratch no booties. I don't bathe in no cow urine. I don't walk around with necklaces of little reptilian creatures with penises the size of a human being. Oh, there was an African shaman named Credo Mutwa, and he had this necklace, and it had a little reptilian creature that had a penis about big as his body. And they actually worship these things. But that's something totally different. This is what it says. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people, which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength into thy Kodesh habitation. Ain't that the same thing we just reading over here in Hebrew 10? Because the Kodeshes of the Kodesh of the Kodeshes of the holiest of the holy is where? That's in the sanctuary in Yah's house. When you say habitation, that's dealing with somebody dwell. That's what he was bringing us into to do, was to dwell in his house by the blood of his lamb. He said, now guess what? Same thing. It was showing forth this similitude at the beginning. He said, the people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold of the inhabitants of Palestine. The dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thy arm they shall be still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Yah, till the people pass over which thou hast purchased. Haven't we already read in 1 Peter how he purchased the people with his own blood? He says, thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Yah, which thou hast made for thee to dwell, in the sanctuary, O Lord, O Yah, which thy hands have established, and Yah shall reign forever and ever. So that's in here telling you the same thing, right? Come on back to Hebrew 10. He said, by the blood of this lamb, which he just used to buy you, you can dwell in the sanctuary. In the sanctuary. Verse 20. He said, by a new and living way. What did Peter tell you? Paul tell you, to purge out that old leaven and make yourself a new lump. By a new way. Which he hath consecrated for us through the veil, that is to say, his flesh. Which means consecrate means to set apart. And in them offerings we read about, ain't these set apart offerings? So he say through this set apart offering, he done set you apart by himself, by his flesh. And having a high priest over the house of God. Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our hope without wavering, for he is faithful that promise. And some of y'all need to learn that. You need to hold fast the profession that you got, that you claim it, and don't waver. You got to stand. You got to be willing to say, you know what? If I got to tell these people I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I got to tell this individual I can't do this, or I can't do that, to stand on God's word, you got to be able to do that there to know God is faithful. All right then. Look at verse 24 though. I want you to see this one here though. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. So he said you need to consider each other to provoke everybody to do right. Don't be provoking people to commit sin and make people get angry with you. Especially they of the household. You're supposed to be provoking each other to do right. Look at verse 25. Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting or warning one another, so the much more as you see the day approaching. So you need to be warning each other, because you got some people that be like, I ain't coming to the synagogue today. I ain't coming to the assembly today. He said, you ain't supposed to do that. You got a lot of people. I just told you about the dude tell me he fellowship by himself. And he said he did that because he didn't trust the people that was teaching the word in the areas where he walked. But just because you run call false prophets don't mean that you shouldn't be seeking an assembly of the people of God. That don't make no sense. That's why I told you some of y'all before. A lot of people problem is they wouldn't feel the need if they felt like, hey, I need to leave to be what an assembly of God people at. They wouldn't do it because you'd rather be comfortable with yourself because you really don't trust God. I'm going to stay here where I'm at, where I'm comfortable. And I'll just be like, I can't get no word here. That's foolish if you say that's what you want. We could sit here and read. All them people came up to Jerusalem and during Pentecost for what? To get God's word. They said it's imperative for us to be here. You know, Paul moved from spot to spot to be able to preach the word. Has God got men everywhere? Absolutely. Is he sending people from spot to spot to preach the word? Absolutely. But you know they're not few in number. You know they're few in number. You know there ain't no large contingent of them. You know all these people out here ain't teaching stuff properly. Come on back to Exodus 12. You got to be real serious about your salvation and be willing to do what's necessary. That man said you got to stand and not waver. You got to stand and not waver. And you got to be faithful. Know that he is faithful, that promise, and you ain't got no business forsaking assembling yourself as the manner of some men, because you got some people, they like to do that. We don't want to be like that. What is the verse I'm in? But he said with this hyssop. Come over here to Psalm 51 and 7 about this hyssop, about that purification. Psalm 51 and 7. Make it 6. Matter of fact, make it verse 4. Matter of fact, make it verse 2. He said, wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. We just read that in Hebrews 10, then. He said, have your bodies washed with pure water. He said, for I've acknowledged my transgressions and my sin is ever before me. Nicole, do you remember where in the book of Proverbs he talks about acknowledging your transgressions? Or 1 John? I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to keep it narrow for you. You remember where that is in Proverbs?
What?
Where he said acknowledging your transgressions. Proverbs and 1 John. Go on and tell me what it say, Nicole. You know what it say? What about you, Jim Bandit? Anybody know what it say? Proverbs 28 and 13 says, he that confess and forsake his sins will have mercy. 1 John 1 and 9 says, if you confess our sins, he is just and faithful to forgive us and cleanse us from all righteousness. So that's the first thing you're going to have to do. To be cleansed, to be purified, you're going to have to confess your iniquities, and then you're going to have to forsake them. Because you got to remember, Yeshua is the hyssop as well. Look what he tell you in verse 5. Well, verse 4 actually. Against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou might be justified when thou speak, and be clear when thou judge. God is just and indeed on taking all of us out of here. You know why? Matter of fact, since I ran into this dude the other night to try to use this excuse, come on over here to Romans 3. Just the whole purpose of the unleavened bread is showing you as you casting sin out. Not just casting and leaving out your house, but casting out the leaving that's in your heart. Is it time for you to play with basketball today? Romans 3 and 9. Matter of fact, make it 7. Listen what Paul tells you. Romans 3 and 7. He say, for if the truth of God have abounded, more abounded through my lie unto his glory, why yet am I also judged a sinner? And not rather as we be slanderously reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil that good may come, whose damnation is just. So Paul sitting here telling these people, he say, if the truth of God done abounded through my lie to the glory of God, he said, why I'm judged a sinner if I'm lying, and God being glorified? Because that's what people going to say, oh, he's lying. He said, why I'm being judged a sinner, I'm doing what's right. If I'm lying and God being glorified through my lie. How many times y'all done heard people say what Paul just said right there? He said people slanderously report. And he said, as some affirm that we say. You know what it means to slanderously report something? You know what slander is? What is slander? You know what I'm saying? False. I'm talking about a rough accusation too. Somebody's just taking your name all through the mud. Then he say some people were affirming. If you affirm something, you know what that means? You stamping that, or you saying that by an oath. Because that's what they tell you to say in court now, don't it? You don't got to say you swear. You can say, I affirm it. You saying you giving your word. This man said that. He said, let us do evil that good may come. And Paul said, their damnation is just. How many times y'all done seen people say, well, we can do some evil to get a good work out of it? No? You ever heard that before? Oh, you probably heard it before. Just not in the words. How many times you done seen people say they doing things that are evil, but they got good intentions for what they doing it for?
What?
Yeah. Said somebody playing the devil's advocate. You said, let me do evil that good may come. Paul said, you ought to go to hell. He said, the damnation you get is just. He said, what then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise. For we have both proved, both Jews and Gentiles, that they are all under sin. He said, as it is written, there is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that understand, there is none that seek after God. Now we done read what Solomon said, there's no man that sin not, right? Now he was quoting Ecclesiastes. This is what this young man tried to hit me with the other day. Can we still use that terminology in these days and times? Why we can't use that terminology anymore? That there's none that is righteous that don't do good. Yeah, does any of y'all know why we can no longer say there's none that is righteous that don't do good? There's nobody that can cease from sin. Do any of y'all know why we can't say that no more? Well, through that silence, I'll take that as a no. John 15, and I'll let the Lord take it. That's close to it, but that's not specifically what we're looking for. It ain't just about him dying, it's about what he did. John 15, about verse 21, 22 actually. Listen what he says. Huh? No. John 15 to 22. He said, if I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for their sin. He said, he that hate me hate my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now they have both seen and hated both me and my Father. That's why you can't use that excuse no more. That man said, if I wouldn't have came on this earth and did not transgress this man's law, everybody could say, there's nobody that's righteous that don't commit sin. He said, but now that I done came, you can't got that excuse no more. Because that's what that buddy on that thread. When he called, he tried to use that. Oh, there's none that do right. Let's see what, because he said there's none that do right. That's what Paul said, right? But let's see what John said. 1 John 3 and 7. Because Paul will quote the scripture. That's why you got to have understanding, man. People have y'all crossed up, and that make you think the book contradicting itself. 3 and 29. 2 and 29. 1 John 2 and 29. And the book ain't contradicting itself. You got to be able to know what you're doing. He said, if you know that he is righteous, you know that everyone with due righteousness is born of him. That means you would be Aaron's son, would you not? You'd be the high priest's son, because you would know that if Yeshua is righteous, everyone that's born of him going to do righteous. You're going to do righteously because you're born of him. So that means you're going to do what he did, which is not sin. He didn't have no blemishes. His offerings were a sweet smelling savor, acceptable to God. His drink offering was acceptable to God. All these things are acceptable to God, which is going right back to why we take the bread and the wine. Because that's showing forth that we're making ourselves this offering, the same offering that he did. Because he said you're showing the Lord's death till he come, right? The Lord was an offering. He was an offering. You know what I'm talking about? So you showing that same forth, that offering, that your offering will be acceptable to God. That's why he told you don't take it unworthily. Let's go over here to, since we mentioned that bread, we use the thing the Lord showed Pale. Make this quick. Get on out of here. Genesis 30. We dealt with the Genesis 49 once before. A while back. You gonna throw that?
Yeah.
It's gonna strike me with a flat. Alright then. Genesis 30 and 13. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed, but she called his name Asher. So let's look at Genesis 49. So we see Asher's name means blessed. Essentially, that's what it means, right? It means blessed. Verse 20. He said, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. So when you talk about royal dainties, you know what dainties are? Anybody know what dainties are? Don't tell them what dainties are. No, let's look at Daniel 1. I'll let the book tell you what dainties are. Let's look at Daniel 1. I'll let Daniel tell you. Daniel tells you. Verse 7. Matter of fact, make it verse 5. Matter of fact, make it verse 4. Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom. We already know that Yeshua was a child with no blemish. We know he was well favored and was skillful in all wisdom. We read that last night about the fame of Joshua going through all the land. So to be well favored, that means God looking. What would make you well favored with God? Because people be quick to say they blessed and highly favored. What make you well favored with God? You know what make you well favored with God? Huh? Come on over to Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Proverbs 3 and 5. We'll make it 3. Well, actually, about verse 3. Make it 1. Proverbs 3 and 1. We'll show you what make you well favored with God. A lot of people say they highly favored. God ain't favoring you. He say, my son, forget not. Are you really going to do that? You're really going to put your feet that close to proximity to my body? My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandment. So that's the first thing you do. If you were God, that's going to be a memorial. Because if you don't forget something, you remember it, right? So he say you're going to be his son. You're not going to forget what he tell you to do. Then he say, let your heart keep his commandment. What's the new covenant? Law written in your inward parts. He say, for length of days, long life and peace shall they add to thee. You get eternal life and rest. You do this. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thy heart. So thou shalt find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. That's how you're going to get favor. That's why they were well favored. They kept God's commandments. They retained his law in their heart. So of course they wouldn't be without blemish, and of course they would be well favored, and of course they would be skillful in all wisdom. No, that wasn't what they were looking for. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Verse 4 yet again. Children in whom was no blemish. He say, but well favored, skillful in all wisdom, cunning in knowledge, understanding science, and had such ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank. So nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now we got to sit back there. Did you see the Lord in that? Did you see the Lord in that? You didn't see the Lord in that, did you? No. Let's come on back here, little muffin. Come here, little muffin. No, I'm going to wait for a little muffin. Verse 5, little muffin. You should have been reading. Daniel 1 and 5. Listen to this here, little muffin. He says, the king appointed them. You got children in whom was no blemish. Well favored and skillful in all wisdom. Yeshua had no blemish, right? You know he was well favored. We just went through that, right? He was skillful in all wisdom and knowledge. Now look at verse 5. He said, the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank. So nourishing them 3 years, at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Yeah, what you see in that? Your mind should be moving. No. How old was Yeshua when he began to preach? How old was he when he was killed? How young? How long did he preach for? 3.5 years. And he said the king appointed him a daily provision of king's meat and wine. So then at the end of the 3 years, what did the men sit down and do? Wine and bread furnished by the king. And then after that, after those 3 years, it said that he might stand before the king. What happened after Yeshua did that? He went back. He went back. That makes sense? Let's go on and look at one and make that sense. Because we done already been dealing with the wine. But y'all know he preached for 3 years though, right? Y'all aware of that? Let's see if he went to stand before the king at the end of them 3 years. John 20. He's going to push the book away? Daniel 1 and 5, man. Can't find the book of Daniel? Oh, sorry about that. Verse 17 of John 20. Yeshua said unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. So obviously if he ascended his Father, he's going to stand before him, is he not? We just read how he said he's in the holy tabernacle to make intercession continually for the people. Right after he got that meat and that wine. Huh? You wouldn't think he should have gave that just then, Daddy. That wasn't my hand, that was my knuckles.
Yeah, knuckles are all right.
My knuckles?
Or the hand, or a nut?
No, they're just knuckles.
What's the hand then?
They're just knuckles. This is hand.
No.
These are
From the
fingers.
wrist up, the hand.
No, these are fingers.
Mm-hmm.
These are
From
knuckles.
the hand, you're going to pull back the middle.
Yes, phalanges. I put phalange here. That means I will strike you with my phalanges.
Mm-hmm.
Into oblivion.
Put them,
I think my answer is
Yeah,
Even
could be.
digits.
No, digits. I will digit you.
that's right.
Indeed. Verse 6 though. He said, now these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. I'll let you know we Jews too. You see what happened to them dudes? They went into captivity, and what the oppressor did. And what happened to us when we went into captivity? What did our oppressor do? But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince's eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So he didn't want the royal dainties or the food and meat of the king. But he just read it with Asher, who being blessed, he said, he going to eat this bread, and this bread you're going to be made fat. And he said, you'll yield royal dainties, or royal meat. Because what did we just read about that Yeshua said, we didn't read that, in Revelation 3. He said, if you overcome, he going to make you to sit down and meet with him. He going to gird down and sit himself down and feed you, didn't he? See, come over here to Luke 12. Come on, Jim Dan, turn the page. Come here, Stanky. Huh? Yeah, I know it. But she's just standing in the hallway looking perplexed.
She does nothing but drink. All the drink is gone.
No, I can't say that's accurate. Luke 12 and 37. I've seen her make a move or two.
Not in the time.
Wow, that's what
there's water.
Yeah. She had water this morning. Verse 37. Make it 36. Make it 35. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning, and you yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he come and knock, that he may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he shall find watching, truly I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. So it sounds like when you eat that bread, he going to yield some royal dainties in it. You're going to eat it. You're going to be able to eat with God in it. What we read, well, y'all wasn't in there. What we read last night. Blessed are those that eat bread in the kingdom of God, right? That's what he told you in Luke. You'll be blessed to sit down and eat those royal dainties at the marriage supper of the Lamb, not to lean with it. On the wall. Lean with it on the wall. Huh? Go on over here to John 6 so we can see it. There's nothing I can do about that.
Come on.
Truthfully. And it rained. We read a little bit of this last night. John 6 and 48. Remember, he said this bread will make fat. When you get made fat, it means you made full, you made complete, right? Everybody want to get fat, don't? So what they say, to live fat on the hog. Huh? High, fat, it's all the same. If you're sitting high, you're sitting fat, you're living good.
No, you can't do that.
How about I put my foot in your butt? It wasn't.
Another grown man's bone.
It wasn't meant to be nice. You say what you want. You know what I meant.
Boy.
I kick you square in your butt.
Yeah, what up? Homosexual.
Yeah. You won't say that to my face. Come on with it. Come on with it. I've been waiting to beat up somebody for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Quit. Verse 48. Make it 47. Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that believe on me have everlasting life. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which come down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which come down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. This is what he tells the people. The Jews therefore strove against themselves, saying, how can this man give us flesh to eat? Because they didn't understand the law. If they would have understood the law a little more, they would have known what he said was. They would have automatically, Leviticus 2 would have came to mind. Numbers 28 would have came to mind. These things would have came to mind. The law would have came to mind. Hold up. Flesh offering, meat offering, drink offering. Okay, I can accept this. But they simply thinking this man say, here, take a bite out my forearm. Take a bite out my calf. That's what they were thinking. Because they know why? They were thinking carnally. They couldn't see. That's why he had told them before, it was written in the prophets that they should all be taught of God. Every man therefore that have heard and learned of the Father come unto me. Those that knew the law and the prophets, they would come. This is why the people before time was able to receive the Spirit so fast they knew the law. So when them things was told to them, they got it. They got it immediately. Look what verse 53 says. Then Yeshua said unto them, Truly, truly, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Unless you take this meat offering and this drink offering, you good as dead, man. You're done. That's the whole purpose of why we have that memorial and that remembrance of eating the bread and wine. And you got to sit here and ask yourself, why am I not worthy to take it? Just because we got to do the second Passover for a little month, and maybe some of y'all have your minds right, y'all can do it when it's time for y'all to do it. Matter of fact, Brittany, you couldn't take it nowhere. When you had them children in November. Oh yeah, she's got 106, she's got 113 days. No, I think she might be past it.
What?
She had twins.
Okay.
She had a girl and a boy. 80 days for the girl, 33 days for the boy.
So those not prepared?
113, no.
Why wouldn't?
Because they
have
don't.
30 days for the boy.
But they don't.
81 days for the girl.
It doesn't run. No, it's not 31 days for the girl. It's 80.
As I said, 81 days for the girl and 30 days for the boy.
33 days.
33 days for the boy.
They don't run concurrently. This ain't prison, man.
I didn't say it was prison. But what in it?
Let's look at it.
Yeah.
Let's look at Leviticus 12. It doesn't run together.
I mean, because I'm just using common sense here. Like,
Okay.
33 days, like, I had them at the same time. 33 days passed. My boy is good. I'm good with my boy. Now I just got to
Let's
wait.
see what it says. No, we're just talking about you taking the Passover. Taking the Passover. Either way it goes, I think she had it because I'm sure it's over 4 months old.
Yeah, I mean, she good either way. But
Leviticus 12 and verse 1. He saying, Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation of her infirmity. She shall be unclean. And in the 8th day of the flesh of her foreskin he shall be circumcised. She shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. That's why they don't run together, because that's 33 days just for the boy. You know what I'm talking about? She set apart for 33 days just for the boy. Then it say, if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks as in her separation, and shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days, which is 80 days. And when the days of her purifying fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, a young pigeon, a turtle dove, for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, who shall offer it before Yah, and make atonement for her. She shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law of her that has born a male or a female.
Okay, but she had them at the same time.
It doesn't matter. It's like you weren't paying attention when we was in there. He told that woman who was in there who was pregnant with twin girls that they said she wouldn't be back till tabernacle. Till tabernacle. That's in October. That's a long time from now, isn't it?
Okay, when did she do?
Like in a couple weeks.
You talking about the one that gave
The one that was in the back said this was her last time coming. She was pregnant with twins. Twin girls, because he said tabernacle. That's over 6 months. Yeah, I know you weren't listening. No, like I said, he said you do.
I remember them saying that this is my last time, 81 days. He said 81 days is a long time. That's all.
I know, and there was another woman, he said, oh, she won't be back with us till tabernacles. Yeah, we can pull the tape. Yeah, because he told that woman, you won't be back till tabernacle. That's why I kicked in my mind, oh, she must be having twins. Because it's what it is. That was March, right? Tabernacles won't be till September.
You said you put in your mind that she said that he must be having twins, but you just said that they're having twins.
No, I'm talking about when he told this woman she's finna go out and have birth.
Because she wanted to be ready for the second Passover, that's why.
No, he told that woman she wouldn't come back to the sanctuary till tabernacles. Not taking no Passover. She wouldn't be returning till tabernacles. That's in September, man. At the earliest, October at the latest. Oh, they're just talking about, Brittany, when you done had a baby, you can't come in the sanctuary for a certain period of time, as you just heard. You couldn't come in, like if we would have had a synagogue right when you had them twins, you couldn't have came in there. Say what? I can't hear you. Your phone breaking up. Yeah, you could have did that, but you couldn't have came in the synagogue. You couldn't have came in there. Second Passover is in the 14th day of the second month, which is in Numbers the 9th chapter. It was for people who were defiled for whatever reason or were on a long journey. Look at Numbers 9. I'll read it to you. Oh no, that part might not be on it. That was after they got finished preaching.
No, it's still
I don't know. I mean, the videos I've seen, that's all. That stuff he cut off.
No, not yet. Until he does that last prayer. That's going to be okay. Because we got to do that. Live right and come home.
Yeah, I know all that be on the screen, but do that be on the video?
Yes, it does.
I've seen videos that cut.
Oh, the video. Yeah, you're right about video. I think that's
Numbers 9 and 1.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Like, make it 11.
Yeah, right. Like, that's good. That's going to cut off.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 9 and 11. The 14th day of the second month at even they shall keep it. But make it 10. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you of your posterity shall be unclean by a reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto Yah. The 14th day of the second month at even they shall keep it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They shall leave none of it until the morning, nor break any bone of it. According to all the ordinances of the Passover they shall keep it. But the man that is clean, and is not in a journey, and forbear to keep the Passover, even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he brought not the offering of Yah in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin. So he sit there saying, oh, you don't want to come around and keep this Passover and partake in that bread and wine, and there ain't no reason why you couldn't do it. He said, you're gonna be cut off. You're gonna keep your sin, and you're going to hell.
What if afterwards, say she was still unclean, one of by the time the what's called second Passover came over?
Just to be missed. It wouldn't be missed because she forbear to miss it.
Yeah.
Just because she would be in her time of separation. So then on that end, she would be clear. You know what I'm talking about? You would be blameless because it's not that you didn't want to do it, but the law precludes you from doing it. You know what I'm talking about? But if there wasn't a reason why you couldn't do it, then you didn't. Now you got a problem. That's why when he was talking, when I told him I presented that to y'all, some of y'all on doing it, and he was like, well, maybe give him the second Passover. I said, I have to see how they feel, because most of them said they didn't want to do it. Make the pass. You almost broke your stuff, and I'd have laughed. Now, where we was at before we mentioned that guy? But I talked to you about the second Passover when we get finished. Where we was at just now? Huh? John 6? I think we were finished with that. Come on around here back to Second Chronicles 23 or First Chronicles 23, so we can get ready. I think somebody wants to get beat up. First Chronicles 23 and about 25. Somebody want to get beat up, Stankers? I think it's your pappy.
Yeah, you heard it. What's wrong with it?
Nothing, Stankers.
Yeah.
And we can get it. Throw me the ball. So that's, you better start talking about my uncle. I guess you can slide.
No, she threw it at me.
No.
Hit my hand.
Sure. First 25. First Chronicles 23. And, yeah. Yeah. All right. I understand. First Chronicles 23 and 25. We'll go to Ezra 6. And I think we'll call it a day from now. He said, for David said, Yah, God of Israel, has given rest unto his people, that they may dwell in Jerusalem forever. Remember what we read last night? What did the Lord say? He came to give you rest, to give you peace. And also unto the Levites, they shall no more carry the tabernacle, nor any vessels of it for the service thereof. For by the last words of David, the Levites were numbered from 20 years old and above, because their office was to wait on the sons of Aaron for the service of the house of Yah, in the courts, and in the chambers, and in the purifying of all Kodesh things, and for the work of the service of the house of Yah. That's where we was at with Psalm 51, talking about that his son. That was purifying when he said he would purge you, make me clean. Come back to Psalm 51. That's what it was. He just brought that in. That's what we didn't finish. Now y'all know that Moses used hyssop when he sanctified the first covenant, right? Y'all aware of that? I'm going to read it to you tonight. Isaiah, Psalm 51:6, pardon me, Isaiah 1 in my mind for some reason. He said, behold, thou desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. That's why Paul is telling you to purge that leaven out and make yourself a new lump, because he desired righteousness in your heart, inside of you. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Now we know he didn't break Yahshua bones, did it? But in the literal, figurative sense, you know you've been broken down because you're going through this affliction. You know what I'm talking about? But come on around here to Hebrew 9. I think it's just climb up easy. So I do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hebrew 9, verse 15. Hey man, put those toes to yourself there, buddy. Got the baby around here walking around in her drawers. He's saying, for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, that they which are called might receive the promise of eternal life, the promise of eternal inheritance. Because that's the purpose of what we taking that bread and wine for, right? Showing forth his death, showing forth the redemption, showing forth the bringing back so you can attain this eternal inheritance. For where a testament is, there also must also of a necessity be the death of a testator. For the testament is of force after men are dead, otherwise it is of no strength at all while the testator lives. That's why the Old Testament was still in effect while he was alive, wasn't it? He said a new one couldn't be in effect. That's why he told him, this is my blood, which is shed for the New Testament, which is shed for the many for the remission of sins. That's why he said that. He said, whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, this is the blood of the testament which God hath adjoined you. Moreover, he sprinkled with the blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. You know where in the law that he cited? That's Exodus 24. You can read it on your own time, where he actually went and did that. But you notice the two things that he mentioned? What are the three things that John say bear witness in the earth? Y'all know the three things John say bear witness in the earth? What's the three things John say bear witness in the earth? No, that bear witness in heaven. The spirit, the water, and the blood. That's what he told you in 1 John 5, bear witness in the earth, right? Look what he just told you what Moses did with the people the first time. If he sprinkled the law and the book, so that means the book was bearing witness in earth, which is the spirit, right? You got the water and you had the blood. You see the similitude of the same thing going down again? The same thing with Yahshua went down again. The spirit bear witness to him, the water from his baptism, and the blood that he shed. Same thing. It just came and fulfilled that end. Same thing. You know what I'm talking about? And when we looking at it, when we dealing with that Passover, you get baptized, then you take the blood and that spirit. Because when you eat that man's flesh and drinking that man's blood, those three things going to be bear witness. And then, at that point, you should have the testimony of Yahshua within yourself. Have you been reading things lately and you see the Lord out of the book, ain't nobody had to show you? Not yet? Hasn't happened for you yet? What about you there, little buddy? Oh, you got suck butt cheeks. And yes, thank you, they do. You know what I'm talking about? Huh? Nah, I just had to throw that in there. That sucks though. Because y'all should be getting to the point where your mind get rolling when you see certain things. I hear you. What you say now, Lamont? Oh, it hasn't got to that point where, like how Nell says, she can see things from time to time. You ain't got to that point, but at least your mind rolling. That's all that matters. Any of y'all see things and your mind go to rolling. What about you, Mom? Y'all been able to see the Lord and stuff, or your mind just get to rolling? One of the two. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. When you see certain things, does it make you pause? And then you go in your mind get to spinning. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe, hopefully, Lord permit, he can begin to show himself openly. How you heard Dale was saying sometimes when he mentions stuff and some of the women in there know what it is, but they keep their mouth closed. Because sometimes if you just dig into it and take your time and just look and just pause, he'll show himself to you. He'll show himself to you, because I know. Because this certain stuff, she done came to me and I'll be like, yeah, that's it. I mean, you done witnessed it. I'll be like, yeah, that's it. But that's a certain thing, you got to look at that. Not what that was we was holding. Now we see this hyssop is for purification, right? I want you to look at John 15. See what the Lord told him. We just want this one spot, then we go to John 19. John 15 and 3. Yeah, about 136. John 15 and 3. Because we already know the word is a purifier in itself, is it not? John 15 and 3. He said, now you're clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Now, how we already read that sacrifices were brought with hyssop, right? We read that earlier then. Look at John 19. Because I got to purify. What did Paul tell you? Knowing that we have these such precious promises, that we purge ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, that we got to cleanse ourselves. We just read about that being washed with pure water. John 19 by verse 28. He said, after this, YESHUA, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. So you notice YESHUA say, now everything's been accomplished. I can go ahead and die now. Which is one thing got to be done, though. Now there was a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it in his mouth. Now you see how that related to them hyssop with them sacrifices we read earlier. Because he had to fulfill that. You just think they just had some hyssop round there for nothing. But what was the hyssop for? Purification. Purification. But then you just seen that in Leviticus and Numbers, all them sacrifices, they had some hyssop involved. Purification. They just ain't give that man no hyssop for nothing. They ain't give no hyssop for nothing. And then through that purification of that sacrifice, we can be purified by a sacrifice, right? Indeed. Come on back to what that was. 1 Chronicles 23. I got one more slide after 1 Chronicles 23. I'm going to leave it alone. We touched some of the stuff the Lord gave you, Pale. See, we didn't touch all of it. We gave a little bit. Because he gave some Pale something totally different. 1 Chronicles 23. But it just went along the lines of what I had in my mind of what we were going to deal with today. But you see how he said that, though. That was all for the purifying of the Kodesh things, for the work of the service of the house of God. This goes along to he that preached the word. The Lord has ordained that all those that preach the gospel got to live the gospel. Clean preacher now. Clean word got to have a clean preacher. Don't make no sense. You've been got it. He said, listen what he said. Go ahead and get ready to hit your joke there, little buddy. You ready? In verse 29. Look at you looking. Verse 29 of 1 Chronicles 23. He said, both for the shewbread and for the fine flour, for the meat offering and the unleavened cakes, and for that which is baked in the pan, for that which is fried, and for all manner of measure and size. So it says all these things got to be purified too, don't it? And what we see there? We see the bread and the meat offering. We see the unleavened bread and the meat offering. He say to stand every morning to thank and praise Yah, and likewise at evening, to offer all burnt sacrifices unto Yah in the Sabbaths, in the new moons, and on the set feasts by number, according to the order commanded unto them, continually before Yah. That they should keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the Kodesh place, and the charge of the sons of Aaron their brethren, in the service of the house of Yah. So again, we see how this thing tying in together about this continual sacrifices being offered. That the Levites or the priests, those that are joined to Yah, are teaching the people so that they might have rest in Jerusalem. That they might have peace from their God. Because that's what you're supposed to get, is get peace from that communion. From eating this man's flesh and drinking this man's blood. This allows you to dwell in his kingdom. Let's go to Ezra 6 so we get out of here. We're going long enough. Let's get to Ezra 6 and get out of here. Thank you, sir. I got to have that, little buddy. It tastes well.
What happened to the shoe bread?
Yeah, he kind of runs on it like you're
I didn't ruin it. They didn't know. They don't know.
You can't hear me either, so you ruined it.
You ruined yourself. Let's look at about verse 7.
Oh, sure.
He said, let the work of this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God in its place. Who is the governor of the Jews? Anybody know what a governor is? A ruler. He said, you need to leave the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews alone to build this place. What's another word for elder? A bishop. So you need to say the governor, the ruler, the chief bishop, and his shepherds up under. You need to leave them alone so they can build the house of God. See, I didn't even touch the part I had in my mind about John 2, but we'll deal with that another time. The Lord brought it to mind and it fell out and it just came back. He said, moreover, I make a decree that you shall do to the elders of these Jews for the building of the house of this God, that of the king's goods, even the tribute beyond the river, forthwith expenses to be given unto these men, that they be not hindered. And that which they have needed, both of young bullocks and rams and lambs for burnt offerings of the God in heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the, that's what I wanted. According to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem, let it be given to them day by day, without fail. You notice how he mentioned that salt? He says, because you need salt to do sacrifices. Come around back here to the law. I think it's Leviticus 2 I want. It might be Numbers 28. Let me see. I looked at this earlier, and he just reading that and brought that back to mind. Look at verse 13 in Leviticus 2. Leviticus 2 and 13.
Oh, cool.
Say, every oblation of thy meat offerings thou shalt season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. This man say, even the covenant, remember he said he made a covenant with salt with the people, right? Y'all read that before? I just looked at this earlier and I got to remember where this is. Thank you, say, I finished it off. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get in here what I'm looking for. If Perry, you can remember where that covenant of salt is, go ahead and let me know. I just looked at this earlier this afternoon and I forgot just that there. Where he said he made a covenant with him by salt. I think we read it last night. But I was with David and Jonathan. Nevertheless. Yeah, we did. The 2 Chronicles 13 and 5. 2 Chronicles 13 and 5. Yeah, I was with David. That's what was in my mind. And then we'll look at Numbers 18 and 19. Look at Numbers 18 and 19 first because we're close to that. Then we'll look at 2 Chronicles 13 and 5. Listen what he said. All the heave offerings of the Kodesh things, which the children of Israel offer unto Yah, have I given. Yeah, I know I seen it earlier. Given thee and thy sons and thy daughters with thee by a statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before thee, unto Yah, before Yah, unto thee and to thy seed with thee. So this man said this is a covenant of salt. You know what salt do? What does salt do? What you put salt on food for? We don't need to look at it. It's seasoned. It's for a savor, right? For taste. Come over here to Luke 14. Luke 14 and about verse 33. Matter of fact, make it 26 and I'll work my way down. They shoot me. Made you look. Made you look.
Yeah.
You're a slave to a Cajun Moran book. That's all to set you up for that. That's all about it. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters and yea, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. This man said you can't set nothing before him. And he said if you're not willing to take on your sufferings or to make yourself a sacrifice, you're not worthy of it. Drop on down. Verse 33, because we ain't got to read all the stuff in between. You can read it later. So likewise, whosoever he be of you that forsake not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. If you're not willing to abandon everything you got, there's no way you're going to be a student of the Lord. If you're not willing to abandon anything that can keep you separated from God, the Lord just said you're not worth of it. Salt is good. But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? He said, if the salt done lost its taste, what good is it for? He said, what good is it for? This is what he tell you, what good is it for? It's neither fit for the land nor yet for the dunghill, but men cast it out. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. What you think he was telling you just then, Lamar? He said, if that salt ain't no good, we can't use it for a sacrifice, can we? And if it's not an acceptable sacrifice, what are you going to do with it? He's going to reject it. Because you just noticed he said every sacrifice got to have salt in it, in that meat offering, didn't it? You know what I'm talking about? So you already know that Yeshua's sacrifice had salt in it. Got to the law statement. Because he wasn't rejected, now wasn't it? So we have to look at it this here. Where your savor at? And what we just been reading for a sweet smelling savor. Sweet smelling savor. Meaning offer your sacrifice with codestiness so that can be accepted. Season that sacrifice with that. How that work for you? Alrighty then. Come on back to Ezra. I'm glad he worked it back in because I was in my mind earlier and it fell out. No, we don't need it. I said we don't need it. Where we at? By verse 9. He say, and which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams and lambs for burnt offerings of the God in heaven, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests which are at Jerusalem. Let it be given them by day by day, without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savors unto the God of heaven, and pray for the life of the king and of his sons. So you see that right there? You see how that salt came in? He mentioned all this stuff. It's got to be needed for a sweet savor. You're going to need all them things for you a sweet savor. And the key thing we're looking for is, look now, wine, oil, and the meat offerings. Because look what we seen right here in verse 9. You got the lamb. Didn't he say eating that bread was eating his flesh? You got the lamb. Then he said, hold on, you got the wine. You got the wine. You got the bread and the wine. And then he say that oil, the spirit. Huh? Verse 11. No, I don't need verse 11. Drop down about verse 15. He says, this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which is in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. Anybody know what the month of Adar is? What month that is? It just passed. It's the last month of the year. And the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the children of captivity kept the dedication of the house of God with joy. And offered at the dedication of the house of God 100 bullocks, 200 rams, 400 lambs for a sin offering for all Israel. 12 he-goats according to the numbers of the tribes of Israel. They set the priests in their divisions, and the Levites in their courses for the service of God, which is at Jerusalem, as is written in the book of Moses. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the 1st month. For the priests and Levites were purified together. All of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, for their brethren, the priests, and for themselves. So it makes sense he just sat here and said all the people who preach the word, they cleaned it. Go right back to what we read in 1 Corinthians 9. Yeah, you got your feet in the way. And the children of Israel which will come again out of captivity, listen to what he says now. All the children of Israel which came again out of captivity, what the Lord told you in John 8. He said, you shall know the truth, and the truth will do what? So he said, the Son shall make you free, you shall be what? Free indeed, right? So all the children of Israel who done partook of the Passover, when he said, purge out the old leaven and make yourself a new lump, have you not came out of sin? Have you not came out of captivity? Listen what else he say. And he say, and has separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land, to seek Yah, God of Israel, did eat. That's the key thing. What did we read last night? Come out from among them and be ye separate, and I will receive you, and touch not the unclean thing. He said you need to leave the filthiness of the land alone. And then when you leave the filthiness of the land alone, then when you read what we read in 1 Corinthians 11, don't apply to you. You can take the Passover worthily, didn't you? See, come on around here to 2 Corinthians 7. Go on and mark it up, little saints. Little saints. Little saints. Little saints. 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 Big old head bigger than your body. My head matches my body now.
Now.
Don't you forget it. Say what you want. Say what you will. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting codestness in the fear of God. That's what our ancestors just did. That ain't what we just reading right. He said they separated themselves from all the filthiness of the land. That means they cleansed themselves physically and inwardly so they could take that Passover. And if some of y'all feel like you haven't cleansed yourself inwardly to take it on the 14th day of the first month, since we're going to have to do it again for a little month, maybe you'll be prepared to do it if the Lord sees fit to spare your life for you to take it on the 14th day of the second month. Come on back to Ezra 6. And keep the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy. For Yah made them joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Syria unto them, to strengthen their hand in the work of the house of God, the God of Israel. Let's come on over here to John 5 so we call it that. What's thinking? You gonna mark something? You are. That's your favorite word to say, honey. Yeah. So if you don't know nothing else, you know that. And why?
Why?
Quick.
Why nothing? I used to hold it down on this.
John 5 and 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me, that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of God in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from God only? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, because he wrote of me. But if you have not believed his writings, how shall you believe my words? I say hallelujah for Yahshua for the word. You understood all those things? No? All y'all understood all these things? Well, praise the Lord. But did y'all see? Was that clear for y'all to see how these things tie in together? With that, you notice we repeatedly ran across things, and repeatedly when you seen them offerings in the law and the prophets about wine, bread, and oil. You seen that repeatedly, didn't you? And every time you seen something with a meat offering with that bread, what animal was always there? That lamb. That lamb. And that let us know. That's why we eat the bread and the wine. That's the purpose of it. That's the sole purpose of it. It was already testified of. It's like we know we see in Genesis 14 with Melchizedek, but you know we need more than Melchizedek, don't look up. We're always going to need just more than that. Always going to need more than just that. Well, I thank the Lord for the word, though. Anybody got any question they want to ask, anything of this nature? No? I'll take that
Good job, dear.
I'll take that as a no. I see, Pell, you had to drop something on him, huh? No, you hear me, Pell? I see you had to drop something on him, huh? Oh, you went to the bathroom? I heard that. I just want y'all to consider them things. So some of y'all that feel like you ain't ready to take the Passover this month, you know, just let me know if you feel that you get yourself properly purged and cleansed for the second Passover. I know Brendan just let you know, I said, because that's just something that we ain't really had to deal with all the time, because we don't have a synagogue, but that's just, yeah, if you have a baby, you can't come in the sanctuary. It's shorter for a boy, as you heard. It's longer for a girl. You just have to be set apart. You just can't enter into the house. But if anybody, well, I'll wait for Pell to come back from the bathroom. If anybody got anything they want to say, everybody just quiet at the church mouth. Ain't no need to be quiet. Any other time, you'll have 101 questions for me. I know I'm a bit famished. I just want y'all to consider that, though. Was y'all able to see the Lord and all them things this afternoon, though?
Yeah.
What about you, Jim Dandy?
Yeah.
But I do got some more information for y'all pertaining to Passover and unleavened bread. So, with information of things that are leaving and things that are not leaving. And hopefully this phone will allow me to send it to you as